Hey guys, welcome to another tutorial. Today we're going to be making a beginner crochet beanie, and this is going to be a tiny baby beanie, and it's going to be sent over to our friends at Bundles for Babies. So the size of this beanie in length, it can be anywhere between 3 to 3.25 inches. So 3 to 3 1/4, and the width is anywhere between 2.5 to 3 inches. The materials you're going to need for this pattern is going to be a size 4 yarn, and then we're going to use a G hook, and I believe it's a 4.25 millimeter. And you're also going to need either a yarn needle or a tapestry needle. Let's get started. So we're going to be starting off with a slip stitch, and this is a size 4 yarn. So that way you'll get the same size that we're making. So I'm going to be making 3 chain stitches. So to make a chain, you wrap the yarn around your hook and you pull it through your little loop. So I'm going to make 3 chains, and then I'm going to go to the very first stitch, so this one, and I'm going to insert my hook, and we're going to make what is called a slip stitch. So you wrap your yarn around your crochet hook and you pull it through both of the loops. So now we chain 2, and we're going to start crocheting double crochets. Now we're going to want to make our double crochets in this little ring that we made. It's kind of hard for me to show it on camera as I'm looking for it through my camera, but it's right over here. It's a lot easier to work into when you have the project right in front of you. So see, there it is. It's just a small little ring that we made. So we're going to be working 8 double crochets into this little stitch. So we yarn over and we insert our hook, and then we yarn over and pull through 2, pull through 2. I'll do one more at this speed, and then I'm going to slow it down, but that way I can get it started and it'll be easier for me to show you a slower version of this. Alright, so here's the slower one. So we're going to wrap the yarn around our hook, and then we insert the hook into the stitch that we want to crochet in, and we're going to grab some yarn and pull it through that loop. So now we have 3 loops on our hook, and we're going to yarn over and pull through 2 loops, and yarn over and pull through the remaining 2 loops, and that is a double crochet. So we need 8 of these in the center of our ring. So I'll just keep making these and we'll move on. So now that I've finished, I made my 8 double crochets. Now we're going to close out our circle. So what we're going to do is, I don't know if you can see this top stitch right here, but we made that first initial chain 2. So for some folks it's easier to just go into the chain. That's fine, you can do that, or you can chain in this first stitch if you choose to. So I'm just going to use this chain, and I'm just going to make a slip stitch. So now we're going to chain 2, and we're going to start increasing. So in this very first stitch, I'm going to make 1 double crochet, in the next stitch, this one right here, we're going to make 2 double crochets. So here's my first one, and then we just yarn over and go into that same stitch to make our second double crochet. This is going to make our circle a lot wider. So in this stitch right here, this third one, we're going to make 1 double crochet, and then in the fourth stitch, 2 double crochets. So we're going to keep working this way with 1 double crochet, and then the next stitch 2 double crochets until we work our way around. Alright, so I've reached my last stitch, so I'll just make my double crochet, And now I'm going to close our row. So to do this, here, let's put this inside out. It's going to make it a lot easier to see. So here's our chain. In that very topmost stitch, we're going to insert our hook, pull the yarn through, and then pull it through the second loop. So a slip stitch. We're going to do this for every row. So now we chain 2, and we're going to repeat the row we just made. So in our first stitch, we're going to make 1 double crochet. In the next one, we're going to make 2 double crochets, and so forth and so on until we finish our row. Alright, so I made it to my last stitch, and now I'm going to make my last double crochet, and I'm going to close out the row. So we're going to insert our hook at the topmost stitch, make a slip stitch, and we're moving on. So the next few rows are going to be like this. We're not going to increase anymore, and we're just going to make 1 double crochet in every one of the stitches. So here's 1, and then I move on to my next stitch and make 1 double crochet, move on to my next stitch, 1 double crochet, and we're just going to work this way until we make 5 rows. So it's going to be 5 rows of single or of 1 double crochet in each stitch. So I'm just going to keep crocheting this, and I will show you what it looks like. As I continue to work, I didn't have a lot of this yellow yarn left, so I switched colors a few times. You don't have to. You can keep working your same color. I don't even show you how to switch yarn in this video. This is a very beginner video. So just keep working with your same yarn until you get to the very end of your hat. Remember that the length, it can be anywhere between 3 inches to 3 1/4. So make it, it's what, a total of, I think I made a total of 9 rows, including like from the very topmost row, and I'll show you here in a moment once I finish all of this how to count your rows. For this tutorial I made 10, but that's just a little bit bigger than what they need. So 3 to 3 1/4 inches is the length you want for this hat. So I'll just crochet away, and I'll show you what it looks like when I have a few more rows done. Alright, so I finished all the rows I was going to make, and I'm here on my very last stitch, and to close off our work, we're just going to close the row like we normally would. So just slip stitch in the topmost row, and we are done. So there is our beanie. See, and here's our top. So we're counting here, so these are 3 increase rows, and then we have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Remember that I made 1 extra row, so stop at 9. I just kind of kept going, so don't do that. Stop at 9, and that way this beanie would have been just over 3 inches. So I'm just going to cut my yarn right up here. Leave a little bit of a tail so that you can weave it in or sew it in. And here we go. I'm just going to pull that through. So essentially made just a slip stitch. And these are all my other threads. And just with your needle, I'm going to be using a tapestry needle. You can use a yarn needle if you want to, or any needle you have available. Just thread that, and we're just going to knot it right here. And we're going to do what is called weaving in our ends. And that's just kind of sewing it through this way. So it's best if you use, just pick a shape that you want to sew in. I find squares work great. That way when you wash the beanies, the little ends of your yarn don't become unraveled. But it's up to you. Just weave it through until you're happy with it and you feel like it's not going to come undone. And then we're going to cut the little tail end. So I'm just going to try to hide this as much as I can. There we go. So to cut this, I'm just going to pull it a little bit, and then I'll cut it as close to the edge as I can. There we go. And now we'll just pull the beanie. There we go. And your beanie is done. So I'm going to show you how to make a pom-pom now for anyone who wants to put a pom-pom on top. And these are really easy to make, and you just have to sew the top part. So just grab whatever yarn you're going to be using for your pom-pom, and just wrap it around your hand several times. So for a pom-pom this tiny, because you're going to cut off a bunch of it to make it look puffy, you're going to want to wrap it around your hand at least 50 times. So 50 to 60 times I found is ideal for a small pom-pom like this. And we're just going to cut a small tail like this. We're going to cut a small piece of yarn. There we go. And I'm going to pull the yarn off of my hand and then just kind of try to pull it a little. There we go. And we're going to tie that little piece of yarn that we cut. We're just going to tie it in as tight a knot as we can tie it in. So, sorry, I know the image is upside down, but I'd recorded it that way and I can't flip it over to save my life, so. But let's keep tying this. There we go. So make it a super tight knot, and that way your pom-pom will, I mean, it won't unravel. It'll unravel otherwise. So there we go. And then these, leave them, these little tail ends, because these are the ones we're going to use to attach the pom-pom to the hat. So we're just going to sew those through the top of the hat and knot them on the inside, and that's how you will attach your pom-pom. So we're going to cut these little ends off. So over at the top part where our yarn had folded over, that's where we're going to cut off. So we're going to cut all of those off from both sides, and then we're going to trim our pom-pom to give it shape. So I'll just keep cutting these, and then I'll show you how to trim it more. Now grab the best scissors you have, see, and hold on to these two, don't cut these, and you're just going to trim this. For me, it's my kitchen shears. They're just the best scissors I have for this. So we're going to cut off a bit, so don't be surprised when you see a bunch of yarn that you have cut off in order to make it a really fluffy poof for the top of your beanie. You can stop at any point. The shorter you cut it, the fluffier your little pom-pom's going to be. So it depends on how fluffy you want it. So if you want something where you can very clearly see the yarn, then don't cut off as much. I just want it to be really fluffy and look like a tiny little cotton ball. So I'm going to cut off a lot of this. So I'll just keep cutting here, and I'll show you what this looks like here in just a minute. So there we go. So that is my little pom-pom. I've cut off quite a bit. I left these two tails because, like I said, you're going to use that to sew it onto your beanie. So see, I've cut off a ton of this, but it creates a cute little pom-pom. You can use the yarn in one single color. I just had a little bit left of this blue and yellow yarn, so I just used it for this pom-pom. But that's it, folks. That's how you make this tiny little baby beanie. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. You follow me on Instagram. I'm at mode.bespoke. And if you want more information on how you can contribute to Bundles for Babies, please visit their website. I'll link it down in the description below. On their website, you can find the story of the organization, why it started, as well as what types of donations they accept, and where to send the donations to. So yeah, thanks for watching.